came to the United States when I was about 20 years old, and one of the most interesting things I did was I went into the grocery store. It was laden with food, all of them with artificial ingredients. Well, most of them at the time. Most of them. And as I walked past the vegetable and the fruit stand, I saw a rat in the fruit stand. And I thought, what's a rat doing in the fruit stand? And somebody said to me, it's not a rat. I said, what is it? He said, it's a kiwi. And I said, fruit is not supposed to have hair and be this big. And may I tell you that for 20-something years, every time I saw the kiwi, I kind of walked around it like this. It's just, fruit is not, you name me another fruit that has hair and is brown and is about this size. It's not supposed to happen. And one day, about 3 or 4 years ago, I picked up the newspaper and I read an article that blew me up. It says that of all the fruits in the stand, the banana included and the venerable apple, there's not one of them that has the antioxidants, the cancer-avoiding ingredients, the immunity-building ingredients, the skin-toning ability as the kiwi. And I said, come on, get out of here. You got to be kidding me. And I read it with great interest. The next time I went to the grocery store, what do you think was in my basket? Can somebody say a rat? And if you go to my house right now in Florida, it's likely that you'll see a couple of them on the table, or my wife may put them in the fridge waiting for me to come, because every day I get a chance, I have a kiwi. In one moment, my life changed with just one thought. Just thinking. My thinking was, it was objectionable, it was not good, it was unattractive, and in one moment, that whole scenario changed. All my life, while I thought it was a bad thing, I was denying myself of the nutritional abilities of that one little fruit, and in a moment, my thought changed. And as soon as my thought changed, my behavior changed. And as soon as my behavior changed, I got different results. I have a sister-in-law in California who eats it every day, and she says she doesn't get a cold. I've got good news for you. You're under the traffic, you're under the politics, you're under the weight of life. The good news is you don't need 4 years to change your life. As soon as you change your mind, your life changes. As soon as you change your thinking, your life changes. I've written all kinds of books. This is one of them, but it's not my favorite book. My favorite book says, as he thinketh in his heart, can you help me finish that? So is he. So there's this connection that says, as you think you are, your thoughts are you. If you want to change your life, all you have to do is change your thinking. That's pretty dramatic. And somebody says, it can't be that easy. I didn't say it was easy. I said, when you change your thinking, you change who you are. And so, what I have learned to do is to think about my thinking. Are you aware of your thinking? Do you know that one of my mentors is Earl Nightingale, and he says that only 2% of Americans think every day? Now, you're not typical Americans. This is Lexington, doggone it, so let's give you the benefit of a doubt. In Lexington, only 4% of the people think every day. Does that make you feel any better? Why? How could the social psychologists of such renown come to such a conclusion? Because the vast majority of human beings go by rote and do today what they learned yesterday. It is possible to be a doctor and not have to think, because you go back to all the things that you've done for the last 10 years of having been a doctor. It's possible to be an HR expert, a logistics expert, a marketing expert, and not really think, because thinking is creating new realities. When last did you think? And every time you think, you change your life. Yeah, we think that if we get $1 million, our life will have changed for the better. Yeah? Go look at the guys who win it by lottery. And what happens to them? Typically, they end up poorer than they had before. Why? Because with money in the same head and the same thinking, sooner or later, the head reverts to the state of having no money, because the thinking has not yet changed. So I know what it's like. I know how tough it is. I know because I sent out a survey and asked people about their dreams and their hopes and their possibilities for life. And I know the weight. I've heard a little of the data from this company about the weight that we go under. And it's not about this company. It's about life in the world today. They're tough, right? Changes are happening. And sometimes it's hard to keep up. But I've got just such hope for you and me. If you want to be happy and you want to be joyful and you want to live a life that's full and bubbling and sucking up all the free oxygen that is untaxed, up until this point untaxable, every possibility of it lies inside your belly, because the caterpillar does not get its wings from the company or the government. The wings are embedded inside the caterpillar. So when you look at yourself, lady, and you don't seem to be the kind of profile that they would put on the billboard to advertise the big brands of the world, and people don't tell you about how charming and wonderful you are, that's okay, because that beauty is superficial. You have to know that deep inside your belly you have the ability to soar, to break out, and to fly. And when you know that, it changes everything. Subsequently, when I didn't have electricity and didn't have running water, it didn't matter, because I knew I was going somewhere. Somebody had planted those words inside me, and I lived on them, and I lived on them. And then one day I find myself flying from Bogota, Colombia to London, and going to British Airways, and having a lady call me by my last name and take my coat and feed me a six-course meal up in the air. And I'm wondering, doesn't she know that I'm just a little barefoot boy from the country in Jamaica? And she's treating me as though I were someone. And at one point she looks at me and says, "Mr. Day, would you have some caviar, please?" And I said yes, because I wanted to know what it was. It was amazing. You know that you're on the edge of breakthrough? Do you know that it's not up to your boss for you to live a life of power and fullness? Your boss didn't get you wings, you did. When, oh, when will you work on yourself? Work on yourself until the wings come out.